Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Dare to Be podcast. Can't believe it's 2025, and we have a special treat for you today. We have Jay here from PrimeFlex Mentoring, and he's going to give us everything we need to know about financial wellness in 2025. So, just a little bit about Jay. So, Jay is an experienced e commerce mentor who has coached over 100 students on how to start their own Amazon business, and they have also collectively garnered and generated over $500,000 in sales. $500,000 in sales. That is amazing. And Jay has personally made over $3 million, okay, American dollars,
American USD.
selling products online using Amazon's platform. So, this is probably the best financial wellness podcast you're going to hear starting this year, 2025. And you're going to tune in because he teaches a range of people from different backgrounds, whether they have a large capital or they're just starting, part time, full time. So, yeah, let's get into it. Thanks for joining the Dirty podcast.
Hey, let's do it.
Yeah. All right. So, thanks, Jay, for joining us today. If you can just go and tell the listeners and the viewers of the Dirty podcast a little bit about yourself and what you're currently, up to.
Yeah, so welcome everybody. My name is Jay, as she so greatly introduced. Currently, I'm a full-time e-commerce seller as well as a full-time coach where I train people on how to make their first $10,000 sell on Amazon. And I also sell in different marketplaces like Shopify, Walmart, TikTok, and other different marketplaces to just, live and kind of nomad e-commerce lifestyle pretty much.
That is super exciting, and I love how you make your own hours. Pretty much, you work when you want to, and as much and as long as you want to. So that's amazing, especially just wanting to be able to travel whenever you want, and then also
Right.
just living, like you said, the nomad lifestyle. So how'd you get into that?
So let me get into how I got into that, right? So I first got started back in 2020 during the pandemic. I was just freshly out of grad school and I was working at a full-time job. It was this company called Cintas, which is a pretty good company, the Fortune 500 company, but they didn't treat me like Fortune 500. So I was just having not the best experience with that. So I knew that I wanted to live a more fulfilling life than, kind of what I feel like what my hands were being or my hands were dealt during that time. So I really want to take control of my life, and I feel like that's how I originally got interested in just the nomad lifestyle, different ways of making money online, and I really wanted to provide myself the best opportunity to do that. And I found Amazon, I found e-commerce, and I felt like this is something I could really apply myself to. And just in 4 or 5 years later now, I'm doing this full time. I feel very comfortable and I feel very fulfilled.
I love it. And honestly, I feel like we're always online on social media, just browsing. Why not use that time and make some money out of it, right? I don't even
100%.
want to show you my activity for TikTok and Instagram, but if I actually put some effort into that, maybe I could potentially also. But yeah, just can you give us some online business investment tips? And I mean, it seems like it could be fulfilling, but is it really for everyone? Can everybody do it?
Mm. Good question. Good question. It is definitely fulfilling, and I think that everyone can do it. I think that e-commerce is so vast, and there's so many different opportunities and different business models for people to leverage that there is definitely a lane for them to seize, right? And I think it's all about people being equipped and informed on how to seize the opportunity and monetize their gifts, which I feel like a lot of people kind of take for granted in the social media area, but like a lot of our gifts and our uniqueness is what allows us to is what allows a lot of people to monetize that, right? So being able to know how these newer markets, these new industries work in today's day and age is definitely going to leave you feeling a lot more comfortable.
Okay. And then as far as getting into it, what would you recommend would be your first step? Obviously, joining your mentorship program, but
Absolutely. I would say the first step is really getting informed and really becoming a sponge in the space, really understanding what it means to sell on Amazon, what it means to run an e-commerce business. And I think you can either do that through, joining my program, of course, or just even just starting off with YouTube videos. Most information, honestly, is online. I tell that even to people in my coaching program. A lot of the stuff is really online, but it's more about having that intention and also being disciplined to actually commit to the execution of the task that's necessary to run your business, right? And a
Mhm.
lot of that can be helped with coaches or people who have done this before in the same experience, or just being with other like-minded sellers who create an ecosystem for you to, foster that development.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm guessing you got into it because you obviously weren't too happy with your employment. What would
Not
you
at all. Yeah,
and I'm sure there are lots of people in the same boat
100%. I
as you
know
were
it.
in back in 2020. So would you recommend this being something to delve into full time or
Mm.
start it off maybe learning a little bit more and then maybe drawing some sort of plan?
I would definitely say people should start this off part-time because
Yeah.
when I first started off, I was doing this part-time. I think a lot of people are deterred from, pursuing their e-commerce, careers because they feel like they need to do this full-time or they feel like they need to bite off more than they're willing to chew. You know what I'm saying? I feel
Mhm.
like if you utilize e-commerce as an asset for you to make yourself some extra money while still maintaining your current lifestyle, while still maintaining your current foundation, that is the best way for you to enter the space, right? As a beginner, right? Learning how to do this in a more digestible way is
Yeah.
a way that you can ensure consistency. So I always tell a lot of my students or anyone who's starting to be a beginner seller, you want to find a way for it to fit into your lifestyle, right? I got into this because I wanted a certain lifestyle. I wanted to, to flow. I wanted to feel more fulfilled and I want my life to feel less strenuous. So I think
Yeah.
once you able to recognize opportunity and then also recognize how you can utilize it in your lifestyle that's not too draining, then that's the safest and most foolproof way for you to get in e-commerce without being overwhelmed.
So what I'm hearing is start it out part time,
Part time, yeah,
see how you feel about it, see if
yeah.
you actually want to invest the time, the effort. And I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure it costs, you have to put some capital down, right? So,
Right, right. So I would say you can definitely do it part time because you don't need to spend an exorbitant amount of money when you're first starting off, right? There's different business models you can leverage with e-commerce, especially within Amazon, where a lot of my students are starting off with like less than $500 with their first product purchase.
Mhm.
And I always teach them to do that because one, they move a lot faster when they're not dealing with so much capital and the gravity of making a mistake. So that progress comes a lot faster, which means they get their first sale a lot faster, and then that's that first aha moment. It's like, oh, like I actually can make money outside of my own labor, outside of, me physically being at a certain place and clocking in. I can create systems that can make money on my behalf. And that's how I'm able to afford myself extra streams of income.
Wow, really great advice. Thank you so much. And just wanted to pivot to the other side of this. So after you make this money, how would you now, I guess, take control of your finances? And then also just like in general in the new year, how would you recommend folks to kind of just like ground themselves? And when they want to start investing in their business, how would you just recommend that they start to take control?
So I would say how they would start investing with their business is really I think setting a clear budget and have an intention of how much you're looking to spend, how much you're trying to get out of it, goals, when you want to get it completed by. I think that's the best way to give you some direction in terms of how to get started. But I would say, I used to tell my students, with Amazon, you really only need your debit card and your driver's license or state ID to open up account and start funding your business, start finding your first few products to purchase, and then sell for a higher price. Right? I usually tell my students start off with one product, get a real, just get real acclimated with the basics, the fundamentals. Because once you take your time with the fundamentals very slowly, you're gonna move a lot faster, right?
Yeah.
Rather than trying to do everything at once. I'm very much of a, take your time and go very much in depth with the training.
Okay, so the budgeting is obviously super, super important. And I can just
Yes.
imagine how once that first sale hits and you're like, whoa, this is
Literally.
real.
Yeah, June 15th, 2020. I always remember that day because that was the day I got my first sale. And you never forget it because I remember when I was at work, it was early in the morning, I checked my phone, I got the notification, and then after that, like I said, that something clicked, a paradigm shifts, and you're like, oh, like if I can make extra $40, during my work hour, like what's stopping me from doing this to a higher level, doing scaling up to making $4,000 a day, right? Just a matter of volume, it's a matter of just repetition, matter of iteration, right? Once you start to do things over and over again, you're only naturally going to get better. So for me as a coach, I'm always guiding people with how can I guide you to your first aha moment, your first few $1,000s where you that paradigm shifts and you understand the opportunity that you can now apply pressure to.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing. June 15th, 2020.
2020. Yep, yep.
So that was literally in the middle of the pandemic. You were still going into the office at that time?
They were doing me dirty.
Oh,
They were doing me dirty.
man.
That's what I'm saying. They were telling me like, hey, they had me going into hospitals, and I had to clean up because it was Cintas, so they were like
Yeah.
they're like a full laundromat really. They help clean clothes for certain companies, hospitals, scrubs, mops. So I was like a management trainee. So management trainee, they say, yeah, you should be more hands-on in the business. So now that I'm doing what truck drivers are doing in the business, and I'm like, trying to, do the whole granular part of it. And I was already cleaning up mops and doing all the dirty work and not dirty work, but a lot of the blue collar work, especially, I mean, I had just finished my master's degree, so my perception of what I should be doing was like
Hmm.
completely different than what I was doing. So that fueled my anger even more, which led to me, taking action and diving more deep into, learning how to make money outside of working. So yeah, that's literally how it happened.
Yeah, I feel you. Oh my
Hmm.
gosh.
Yeah, that
Man.
part.
Ooh, I get it.
Yeah, it was in the middle of the summer, hot, blazing, and I remember
Yeah.
just being so focused on starting my Amazon business while working.
Well,
That was
work
my motivation.
dedication. That is amazing. Wow.
Yeah,
You learn something new every day. I didn't know this.
yeah. Trust me, I was going through it.
So as far as like when you were, working your full-time job and then also when you were part-time starting with Amazon, how were you able to just like focus on, the future, planning for the future? Let's say maybe like 50 years down the line, like retirement. Like how did this impact how you were moving at that time?
I would say it made me feel first off more confident about my future because even before then I felt like when I was looking at my loans and I was looking at just my salary and my lifestyle that I want and savings goal that I want every time like everything wasn't aligning until
Mhm.
I saw a new stream of income that could drastically change that which it
Yeah.
has because if I'd stayed along my path I don't know how I would have reach the results of the lifestyle I was looking for. Hence, that's what really motivated me to make a change because at a certain point we realized no one's going to really come and save us. We have to empower ourselves and give ourselves the lives that we feel like we deserve. And I think e-commerce was the vehicle that provided that for me. So I think once I started catching on to my Amazon stride, I actually became a lot more financially literate because I was making more money. I'm saying I knew I had to be a little more responsible, which even further perpetuated me being more in tune with my business and taking it more seriously. So I think as you grow in just e-commerce, and that's one of the other main benefits is that it's so multifaceted that as you're learning, how to source products and sell it for higher and make a profit, you're going to learn how to do advertising. You're going to learn how to do search engine optimization. You're going to learn how to do product development. You're going to learn how to do tax accounting and planning and all these different business skills that just improves your entire business acumen. So another great benefit.
And you looked into that while you were starting your business, or is this
Um,
something as you learned as you
so
go?
yeah, I looked into it because I naturally it was what was involved in my business. And when you're an e-commerce owner, like you own your store, so you are the only driver. No one, if you don't work on it, you won't get paid. So
Yeah.
it is the ultimate motivation for you to learn all these different facets of a business that's required for you to run your business optimal at the optimal level.
And I know we talked a little bit about your training. So, do you offer this training, business acumen training, for your mentees?
Yes, yes. So my training program is very much multifaceted to incorporate all the different components of Amazon selling that you're going to need to touch on, which is supplier negotiations, product development, budgeting, running ads, creating your listing so the search engine can recognize your products better. This, like, I've been doing this for 5 years full time. So, well, 4 years full time, 5 years altogether. So I've really, been in the ins and outs of the different strategies and the different things that's required for you to run your business at a high level. So I definitely incorporate that and pour that into the 40 hours plus of training videos and ebooks that I include in my program, as well as my weekly calls. I think these are the main drivers for why a lot of my students see their first, $10,000 in their first 3 months because they are given the right information, the right strategies at the right time. So it's not too overwhelming.
And what's your training website?
PrimeFlexTraining.com, right? That's where they can just watch a video, just to introduce them into what Amazon is, how we leverage it, and how they can leverage it for themselves.
Wow, that's so, so, so great. I'm over here thinking about starting my own online business.
Hell yeah, as everyone should, for sure.
And honestly, you mentioned just like, trying to just prepare for the future. So, just a quick little anecdote. I lost my social security card, so I was trying to get a new one. And I was just on the social
This
security
soup.
website.
That's
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah, I was on the website, the social security website, and it
Yeah.
was literally telling me based on, my last year income, my W-2, etc., how much my retirement would look like. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. If it's 2025 and they're going to give me what I'm making in 2025 in 50 years, that's not going to work for me.
Mhm.
Right? So, and then obviously that doesn't take into fact the 401k and other like investments that I've, started over the years, but it
Right.
was just eye opening to see the way that the system, right, the salary, which isn't a bad thing, but
At
for
all.
me, how I would like to live my life just as I grow older and I want to experience different things, I just feel like
Right.
having some sort of, I guess they call it the kids call it now like a side hustle.
The kids call it. It's hilarious. Yeah.
The kids call it a side hustle. And, having that side hustle now, power your financial wellness and your future would be ideal for everybody. So
Yeah,
now,
I got out of the workspace before I even got into 401ks and all that stuff. Like I didn't even I don't think I even had a well, I probably did. It was a Fortune 5 company, so I definitely
yeah,
did. But I didn't become like financially literate or savvy like that until I started running my own business. Like now my business, I pay myself a 401k. So that's when I
yeah.
started learning about Roths and IRAs and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting, honestly, when you look at it, because I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, I didn't have anyone to take me and say, "Hey, this is how you open your first checking account. This is how you savings account, and annual yield and interest and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera." So, like, growing into our new age, right? We're just learning all these things coming into the workforce. There are different ways to actually propel ourselves further into the future by taking advantage of all the investment strategies, e-commerce strategies that we have right now. So I'm
I agree.
definitely a big proponent of that. And I know as far as like making money through e-commerce and Amazon, how do you determine, I guess, how you are financially fit? Like, what does that mean for you, and how does that look like?
Financially fit. These are good questions. These are very good questions, by the way. Financially fit. I would say. I like seeing, personally, I like seeing how that I'm clearing out my credit card debts, that I'm hitting a savings goal after, each certain Amazon payout. I like that my budget is aligned. I feel like when I feel confident with my budget is in terms of like I'm hitting my savings goal, my credit cards are cleared, and I have enough capital to do the things that I want to do in terms of like traveling or just personal expenditures. So I think that's how I kind of model fit. I think now you asked my question, I feel like I could be maybe a little more strategic, a little more detailed with what number that would be for financially fit. But I think for me, it's more like a feeling.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Okay.
that's wrong or right.
No, hey, I guess I will say that I feel like it's different for a lot of people. So I personally, I like to take vacation. That's different from traveling, by the way. Just want to put that out there in case anybody else says
That's
otherwise.
hilarious.
But
Yeah.
vacationing and traveling are two different things. I like to vacation. So, how I feel like I'm financially fit is if I can actually take those vacations, right? Because, like you said, that would be clearing out the credit cards, making sure everything else is paid and are, savings goals are met. So, that's how I determine my financially fitness. But obviously, this is 2025, and I'm sure we're going to live some more years. And, vacationing 4 times a year probably wouldn't be I,
I mean, yeah, but people do it. If that's what you want to do, you can definitely do it. Why not?
yeah, they do, and I
There's
might.
enough places to vacation.
Yes, I might just have to, get into my own e-commerce online business because I need to be able to be financially fit for the future. And I do
Sure.
have another question for you as far as like living in the present. And I know you're constantly, traveling, visiting new places. How do you then shift that focus from, okay, let me vacation, even though you're technically still working, right? But you're, working on your Amazon business. But like
Right.
now, how do you shift your mindset? Say, you know what, I deserve a break. What does that look like for you?
Honestly, that's another good question. So that's definitely something that's one of my goals for 2025. I definitely want to travel more. I feel like I traveled a good amount last year. Went to Dubai and St. Barth and
Ooh, that's a
I
vacation
think
spot.
Cabo. Yeah, yeah, definitely had some good vacation spots. But I feel like towards the later half of the year I kind of pulled back. I think this year I think I'm more intentional with living that sort of nomad lifestyle and traveling, right? Definitely different from vacationing because I was definitely vacationing for some destinations, but I think I'm heavy set on traveling. Nowadays, I feel like I'm working. I guess maybe some people would think that's working a lot, but for me, I'm enthused when I work. Like I love working. If I'm not working, I'm chilling. So I like working because I know I'm directly providing myself more of a lifestyle that I want. So I'm even more enthused to do the task that some might consider work. Um, and I feel like I don't feel that burnout as much as I used to when when I was doing 9 to 5 or working for a different company. So I don't feel that really need to I don't find myself capping to like, oh, I need a vacation. Even though some people would tell me I need a vacation, but I don't really feel like that. But I do want to exercise the opportunity I've been given in terms of being able to just travel and still provide for myself. So I definitely want to leverage that more often and travel to different countries, this
So
year for sure.
another thing I'm hearing you say to me is that you're living the life that you don't vacation from. Okay?
Listen, and that's literally where I remember intentionally planning for my life. So I'm like, yo, I want to be able to like just every day is a vacation. Like
Yeah.
every day is the weekend. Like I don't want to fit the structure. Maybe I'm the air sign, maybe it's the ADHD. I just cannot like structure. If I don't structure my own way, I feel like I'm being structured. And I don't want to do
Yeah.
that. I don't know.
No, that's awesome. Wait, when's your
Yeah.
birthday? What's your sign?
October 6th, I'm a
Oh yeah.
Libra.
Oh, you're Libra.
Yeah, yeah. Big
Oh.
Libra gang. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Praise and no parade for us. What you mean?
No, no, no. Hey, I love Libras, honestly. Few of my closest friends are Libras, but I can definitely see yeah, just
I
we'll
don't
leave.
know. I sound like some shade with some Libras. It's like a love-hate relationship with Libras. I can tell. Like I tell you gotta
No,
tell me. I always hear all the time people always hating on Libras, and I'm like, why? What do we do to y'all?
I could never, I could never, I could never. Libras are you know, second to Scorpios, of course, but yeah, y'all are cool too.
Right, right, right.
Y'all are cool. If somebody was to ask you why you do what you do and how it makes you feel, what would you say?
I do what I do because it provides me the best way for me to keep myself busy and just keep myself feel fulfilled
Yeah.
and also complete. It provides me with the opportunity to give myself the life that I wanted. So that's why I do what I do. And it's also a fun and creative way for me to develop products and provide to a consumer audience that appreciates and values the products that I procure for that marketplace. So I do like that aspect as well too.
Mhm.
And you said that was second part was,
How does it make you feel?
and how does it make me feel? Makes me feel great, makes me feel unique, makes me feel blessed at this point. Like I definitely feel, especially as I've grown in the space, like seeing it go from side hustle to okay, you're doing pretty well to okay, like that's pretty substantial to teach me. It's just been humble, it's been blessed, and I can only just thank God because like really like I never where I first started. So the feeling is really really amazing. I try. Maybe I don't sit with it enough because it's powerful. Like really, because when I'm thinking about how much I was so dead set and intentional and manifesting and almost hoping and praying, but then like took action on it, and then now it's kind of like here. Um, I feel great. I feel just grateful. Grateful. Not really sure.
Amazing. Love
Yeah.
it. So, so love it. All right. So, Jay, it's been lovely having you here. Thank you so much for joining. And please do not be a stranger. We will welcome you back anytime to the Therapy Podcast. With that being said, thank you.
Peace.
Bye.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks.